The transport ship landed with a heavy thud on the rocky surface of Kepler 438b. Maya Collins pressed her face against the small window, watching red dust swirl around the landing pad. The mining facility looked smaller than she had expected, just a cluster of gray buildings connected by covered walkways. Maya grabbed her research bag and stepped off the ship. The air tasted metallic and the gravity felt slightly heavier than Earth normal. She walked toward the main building where a tall man with graying hair waited for her. "You must be Collins," the man said, extending his hand. "I'm Captain Jake Morrison, head of security here. Welcome to hell." Maya shook his hand and smiled. "It doesn't look that bad." Jake laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Wait until nightfall. That's when they come out." Dr. Lisa Chen appeared from behind Jake. She was a small woman with kind eyes and work-stained clothes. "Don't scare her on her first day, Jake." "Maya, I'm Lisa. I'll be showing you around." As they walked through the facility, Lisa explained Maya's job. "You're here to study the local animals. The Coalition wants to know what we're dealing with before they expand mining operations." They passed through several labs filled with equipment Maya had only dreamed of using. Everything looked new and expensive. Through the windows, she could see the mining towers in the distance, their lights blinking like stars against the red landscape. "What did Captain Morrison mean about things coming out at night?" Maya asked. Lisa's expression grew serious. "The Vorthak. They're the reason we have so much security here. Massive creatures about the size of a city bus. They have scales like metal and spines made of crystal. Every other species in the galaxy is terrified of them." They reached Maya's lab, a clean white room with workbenches and computers. "Have you seen one?" Maya asked. "Only on security footage," Lisa said. "They attack our mining equipment, tear it apart like paper. No one knows why. They seem to be pure killing machines." That evening, Maya sat in the cafeteria listening to the miners tell stories about the Vorthak. Each tale was more frightening than the last. The creatures breathed fire, had claws that could cut through steel, and moved faster than anything that size should be able to move. "Why don't we just leave them alone?" Maya asked. The miners looked at her like she had said something crazy. "Because this planet has the richest mineral deposits in this sector," one of them said. "The Coalition isn't going anywhere." Maya spent her first week studying the smaller creatures around the facility. Most were harmless, but she found their adaptations fascinating. Everything here had evolved to survive in the harsh environment. On her 8th day, she convinced Jake to let her explore the canyon system 5 kilometers from the base. "I need to catalog the cave-dwelling species," she told him. Jake assigned 2 guards to go with her, but Maya felt confident. She had explored dangerous places before, and the Vorthak were supposed to avoid the daylight. The canyon was beautiful in an alien way. Red rock walls rose high above them, carved into strange shapes by centuries of wind. Maya took samples and made notes while her guards watched the sky nervously. Then the storm hit. The wind picked up suddenly and the sky turned dark. Red dust filled the air so thick they could barely see their hands in front of their faces. "We need shelter," one of the guards shouted over the howling wind. Maya spotted a cave opening in the canyon wall. "There!" she yelled, pointing. They ran toward the cave, but the wind was so strong it knocked Maya off her feet. When she stood up, she couldn't see the guards anywhere. She called their names, but the storm swallowed her voice. Maya stumbled toward the cave alone. The opening was larger than she had thought, and it went deep into the rock. She activated her headlamp and walked inside, grateful to be out of the storm. The cave stretched back farther than her light could reach. Strange crystals grew from the walls, glowing softly in the darkness. Maya had never seen anything like them. She took out her scanner and began recording data. That's when she heard the sound, a low rumble like a mountain breathing. Maya froze, her heart pounding. The sound came again from deeper in the cave. She should have run. Every instinct told her to get out of there immediately, but her scientific curiosity was stronger than her fear. Maya moved deeper into the cave, following the sound. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber. Maya's headlamp beam swept across the space, revealing something that made her gasp. A Vorthak lay on the cave floor, and it was hurt. The creature was even more massive than the stories had suggested. Its scales were dark blue-black, shifting like oil in her lamplight. Crystal spines ran along its back, some as tall as Maya herself. Its wings were folded against its body, but she could see they would span the entire chamber if opened. The Vorthak's breathing was labored and painful. Its great head lay on the ground, and one of its nostrils was swollen and infected. Maya could see something metallic sticking out of it. The creature opened one golden eye and looked at her. Maya expected it to attack, to roar and breathe fire like in the stories. Instead, it just watched her with an intelligence that took her breath away. Maya knew she should run, but the creature was clearly in terrible pain. A large crystal thorn was embedded deep in its nostril, and the surrounding tissue was badly infected. Without treatment, the infection would probably kill it. Moving slowly, Maya approached the giant head. The Vorthak watched her but didn't move. Maya could feel its breath, warm and humid, washing over her. "I want to help you," she whispered, though she knew it couldn't understand her words. Maya opened her field kit and took out her medical tools. The thorn was buried deep and removing it would be difficult. But she had treated injured animals before, just never anything this large or dangerous. Working carefully, Maya cleaned around the wound and injected local anesthetic. The Vorthak flinched but didn't pull away. Using her extraction tools, Maya began working the thorn loose. It took almost an hour, but finally the thorn came free. It was beautiful, like a piece of living crystal, but it had been causing terrible damage. Maya cleaned the wound and applied antibiotic gel. The Vorthak lifted its head and looked at her again. For a moment, Maya thought she saw something like gratitude in those golden eyes. Then the creature rose to its feet, towering over her like a living mountain. Maya held her breath, certain she was about to die. Instead, the Vorthak bent its great head toward her in what almost looked like a bow. Then it turned and walked deeper into the cave system, disappearing into the darkness. Maya stood there for a long time, trying to understand what had just happened. When the storm finally passed, she made her way back to the facility. She told Jake and Lisa that she had waited out the storm in the caves, but she said nothing about what she had found there. That night, Maya lay in her bunk thinking about golden eyes and the strange intelligence she had seen in them. Everything the other species said about the Vorthak might be wrong. Everything. Maya couldn't stop thinking about the wounded Vorthak. 3 days had passed since the storm, and she found herself making excuses to visit the canyon area. She told Lisa she was studying the crystal formations there, which was partly true. On her 4th trip back, Maya brought a small medical kit with her. She left it near the cave entrance, along with some of the high-energy food bars from her rations. She didn't expect anything to happen, but it felt like the right thing to do. The next day, the supplies were gone. "The mineral surveys in Sector 7 are interesting," Maya told Lisa over breakfast. "I'd like to spend more time there." Lisa nodded, distracted by reports on her tablet. "Fine, but take extra communication equipment. Jake is worried about increased Vorthak activity." Maya tried to look concerned. "Increased activity?" 3 attacks this week," Lisa said. "But strangely, nothing in your research area. It's like they're avoiding Sector 7 completely." Maya felt a flutter of excitement. Maybe the Vorthak she had helped was keeping others away from her research site. But that would mean they could communicate with each other, which would mean they were even more intelligent than she suspected. That afternoon, Maya returned to the canyon with more supplies and something new. Her portable data tablet loaded with basic mathematical sequences and star charts. If the creature was truly intelligent, maybe it would recognize the patterns. She left everything at the cave entrance and retreated to a safe distance to wait. Hours passed. Maya was about to give up when she saw movement in the cave mouth. The Vorthak emerged slowly, its great head scanning the area. When it saw Maya sitting on a rock outcrop 50 meters away, it stopped. For several minutes, they looked at each other across the canyon floor. Maya could see that the creature's nostril had healed completely. Only a small scar remained where the thorn had been. The Vorthak lowered its head to examine the supplies she had brought, then looked back at her. Moving very carefully, the creature approached Maya's hiding spot. Each step made the ground vibrate, but it moved with surprising grace for something so large. When it was close enough that Maya could have touched it, the Vorthak sat back on its haunches like an enormous cat. Maya held up the data tablet, showing the mathematical sequence on the screen. The Vorthak tilted its massive head, studying the display. Its golden eyes moved back and forth, following the numbers. Then something amazing happened. The creature began arranging small rocks on the ground in front of Maya, creating patterns. At first, Maya didn't understand what it was doing. Then she realized the rock arrangements matched the mathematical sequence perfectly. Maya's hands shook as she changed the display to show a simple star chart. The Vorthak studied it for several minutes, then began creating a new rock pattern. This time, the arrangement showed the position of Kepler 438b's 3 moons with perfect accuracy. "You understand?" Maya whispered. "You really understand." The Vorthak made a sound low and musical. It almost sounded like language, but unlike anything Maya had ever heard. She wished desperately that she could understand what it was trying to say. Over the following weeks, Maya established a routine. She would visit the canyon every few days, bringing supplies and new information on her tablet. The Vorthak, which Maya had started thinking of as her friend, would respond with increasingly complex rock arrangements. Maya learned that the creature could understand physics, astronomy, and even basic chemistry. It showed her the mineral composition of the local rocks using arrangements that perfectly matched her scanner readings. When she showed it video footage of space travel, it created patterns that looked like navigation charts. But the most important discovery came when Maya showed it footage of the mining operations. The Vorthak's reaction was immediate and unmistakable. It made distress sounds and created rock patterns that Maya eventually realized represented nesting sites and breeding grounds. The attacks on mining equipment weren't random violence. The Vorthak were protecting something important to them. Maya was still trying to figure out how to share this information when disaster struck. A cave-in at mining site 12 trapped 6 workers underground. The rescue operation was going badly when Maya arrived at the scene. "The support beams are unstable," Jake told the gathered crowd. "We can't get heavy equipment close enough to dig them out." Maya watched from the edge of the crowd as the rescue teams argued about their options. That's when she saw her friend approaching from the canyon. The Vorthak moved carefully, staying low to avoid being seen, but Maya recognized its distinctive crystal spines. What happened next changed everything. The Vorthak used its natural abilities in ways Maya had never imagined. It pressed its head against the ground and made a deep humming sound. After several minutes, it began digging in a specific spot, its claws cutting through rock like it was soft earth. "What is that thing doing?" Someone shouted. Jake reached for his weapon, but Maya stepped in front of him. "Wait," she said. "It's helping." The Vorthak's digging had revealed a natural cavity that led directly to where the miners were trapped. Within an hour, all 6 men were pulled to safety through the tunnel the creature had found. The miners cheered and thanked their rescuers, but when they saw the Vorthak, their celebration turned to fear. Someone fired a warning shot and the creature reared back, startled. "Don't shoot," Maya yelled, but it was too late. More weapons appeared, all pointed at her friend. The Vorthak looked at Maya with what she could only describe as sadness, then spread its wings and launched itself into the air. It flew toward the mountains, disappearing from sight. "Are you insane?" Jake grabbed Maya's arm. "That thing could have killed all of us." "It saved those miners," Maya protested. "It was trying to help." "It's a predator," Jake said. "That's what predators do. They play with their food." That night, Maya sat in her lab writing her daily report. But instead of describing rock samples and plant life, she wrote about intelligence and communication. She wrote about mathematics and star charts made from stones. She wrote about a creature that had every reason to hate humans but chose to help them instead. She was still writing when alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Red lights flashed and Jake's voice came over the intercom system. "All personnel to emergency stations. We have multiple Vorthak signatures approaching the facility." Maya ran to the observation deck and looked out at the night sky. Dozens of shapes moved against the stars, their crystal spines glowing in the darkness. The Vorthak were coming, and there were more of them than anyone had imagined. But as Maya watched, she noticed something strange. The creatures weren't attacking. They were circling the facility at a safe distance, as if waiting for something. Maya thought about her friend flying away with sadness in its golden eyes. She thought about rock patterns and mathematical sequences, about intelligence and communication. Maybe they weren't waiting to attack. Maybe they were waiting to talk. Maya grabbed her portable communication equipment and headed for the door. She had to try to reach them before fear and misunderstanding started a war that nobody would win. Behind her, she could hear Jake shouting orders and weapons being readied. Time was running out, and Maya was the only person who understood what was really happening. She was the only one who knew the truth about the Vorthak. Maya rushed through the facility corridors, ignoring the emergency alarms and flashing lights. She found Dr. Sam Rodriguez in the linguistics lab, frantically packing equipment. "Sam, I need your help," Maya said breathlessly. Sam looked up from his work. He was a thin man with nervous eyes who specialized in communication systems. Maya, what are you doing here? We're supposed to be in the emergency bunkers. The Vorthak aren't attacking, Maya said. They're trying to communicate. I've been working with one of them for weeks. Sam stared at her like she had lost her mind. Working with a Vorthak? That's impossible. They're killing machines. Maya quickly explained everything that had happened in the canyon. She showed Sam her notes, the photographs of rock patterns, and the mathematical sequences. Sam's expression changed from disbelief to amazement as he studied the evidence. This is incredible, Sam whispered. If you're right, this changes everything we know about them. Can you help me build a translation system? Maya asked. Sam nodded, his scientific excitement overcoming his fear. I'll need time to analyze their communication patterns, but yes. If they're truly intelligent, we should be able to establish basic contact. They worked through the night while the Vorthak circled overhead. Maya provided all the data she had, gathered, and Sam built a complex system that could convert human speech into the low-frequency sounds the Vorthak used. By morning, they had created a basic translation protocol. It wasn't perfect, but it might be enough for simple communication. Maya took the communication device to the canyon, hoping her friend would return. She didn't have to wait long. A large Vorthak landed near the cave entrance, followed by two smaller ones that Maya had never seen before. Using the translation system, Maya spoke her first words in the Vorthak language. The sounds that came from the device were deep and musical, nothing like human speech. I am Maya. I want to understand. The large Vorthak approached the device and responded. Sam's system translated the reply. I am Stormwing that cuts through void. You helped Stormwing when Stormwing was hurt. Maya felt tears in her eyes. Her friend had a name, and it was beautiful. Over the following days, Maya learned incredible things. The Vorthak called themselves the First Flyers, and had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. They had watched many younger species develop, including humans. Stormwing explained that the mining operations were destroying ancient nesting sites where Vorthak laid their crystalline eggs. The crystals in the cave weren't just decorations. They were nurseries for Vorthak young. Without the specific minerals found in these sites, the eggs couldn't develop properly. First Flyers protect egg places for many seasons, Stormwing said through the translator. Small flesh destroy egg places with digging machines. First Flyers become angry, protect what is ours. Maya realized that every attack had been a desperate attempt to protect their children. The Vorthak weren't monsters. They were parents fighting for their species' survival. Maya convinced Jake and Alex Torres, the facility commander, to meet with Stormwing. She chose a neutral location in the canyon and carefully arranged the meeting. At first, Jake and Alex were terrified. Stormwing was even more impressive up close, its crystal spines catching the light like living jewels. But as Maya translated the conversation, their fear turned to amazement. Stormwing shared star charts showing the locations of other intelligent species throughout the galaxy. The Vorthak had been secretly protecting younger civilizations from cosmic disasters for millennia, guiding asteroids away from inhabited worlds and warning species about dangerous stellar phenomena. Why? Alex asked. Why help other species at all? Stormwing's answer, translated through Maya's device, was simple. Life is rare. Intelligence is precious. First Flyers remember when First Flyers were young. The meeting was going well. Jake and Alex were beginning to understand that peaceful coexistence was possible. Maya felt hope for the first time in weeks. Then everything went wrong. Council member Kira Valdez arrived without warning, accompanied by General Ryan Pierce and a full military strike team. Maya had forgotten that all communications from the facility were monitored by Coalition headquarters. Step away from the creature, Dr. Collins, General Pierce ordered, his weapon trained on Stormwing. General, please, Maya said. This isn't what it looks like. We're having a breakthrough in communication. What I see, Council member Valdez said coldly, is a human citizen collaborating with a hostile alien species. This is treason. Stormwing recognized the threat immediately. The great creature's crystal spines began glowing brighter. and Maya could feel electromagnetic energy building in the air around them. "Stormwing, no," Maya said in the Vorthak language. "Don't give them a reason to fear you." But it was too late. General Pierce mistook Stormwing's defensive posture for an attack. "Open fire!" he shouted. Energy weapons lit up the canyon. Stormwing moved faster than anything that large should be able to move, but several shots found their mark. Blue-black blood splattered the rocks as the creature roared in pain and fury. Maya threw herself between the soldiers and Stormwing, screaming for them to stop. Stormwing's electromagnetic field pulse knocked out half the military equipment and sent several soldiers flying. "You see?" Council Member Valdez said as soldiers helped their stunned comrades. "These creatures are too dangerous to coexist with humanity." Stormwing spread its massive wings and launched into the air, but not before looking back at Maya. The betrayal and pain in those golden eyes broke Maya's heart. "You've ruined everything," Maya said, tears streaming down her face. "I've protected humanity," Valdez replied. "That creature and its kind will be captured or eliminated. This planet's resources are too valuable to abandon because of one person's misguided sympathy." That night, as Stormwing's blood was analyzed in the facility labs and military reinforcements arrived from other systems, Maya sat in her quarters under guard. Jake had tried to help, but his authority didn't extend to overruling the coalition military. Through her window, Maya could see the canyon where she had first met Stormwing. In the distance, the crystal spines of other Vorthak glowed against the night sky. They were gathering, and Maya knew it wasn't for peaceful purposes. Stormwing had trusted her, and she had led it into a trap. The fragile bridge between species had been destroyed by fear and greed. Maya closed her eyes and tried not to think about what would happen when the Vorthak stopped trying to protect the younger species and decided to eliminate the threat they represented instead. The real war was about to begin, and it was all her fault. General Pierce wasted no time implementing martial law across the facility. Military patrols swept the surrounding area, hunting for Vorthak with advanced scanning equipment. Maya remained locked in her quarters while soldiers set up weapon installations on every building. On the third day of her imprisonment, Jake appeared at her door with Lieutenant Amy Foster, a young officer Maya had never seen before. "We have 10 minutes, Jake said quietly, unlocking Maya's door. "Amy here thinks what happened to your friend was wrong." Lieutenant Foster nodded nervously. "I've read your research notes, Dr. Collins. If the Vorthak are really trying to protect their young, then we're the aggressors in this conflict." Maya gathered her translation device and research materials. "Where can we go? The General has patrols everywhere. Captain Ben Carter runs supply missions to the outer mining posts," Jake said. "He's willing to help, but we have to move now." They slipped out through the maintenance tunnels that connected the buildings. Maya could hear weapon fire in the distance and see smoke rising from the canyon area. The war had already begun. Captain Carter met them at a hidden landing pad with a small transport ship. He was a weathered man with kind eyes who reminded Maya of her father. "The military found a Vorthak nesting site this morning," Carter told them as they boarded his ship. "They're bombing it from orbit. I've never seen creatures fight back like this before." As they flew toward the canyon system, Maya saw the devastation below. Smoking craters marked where beautiful crystal formations had once stood. The ancient nesting sites that had taken thousands of years to grow were being destroyed in minutes. There, Maya pointed to a deep canyon that hadn't been touched by the bombing. "Stormwing showed me hidden caves in that area." Carter landed the ship in a narrow valley between towering rock walls. Maya grabbed her equipment and ran toward the cave system, calling Stormwing's name in the Vorthak language. The response came from deep within the caves, but it wasn't the voice Maya expected. This sound was older, deeper, filled with authority and ancient wisdom. Maya followed the sound through winding tunnels until she emerged into a vast underground chamber. What she saw there took her breath away. The cave was actually a city, carved from living rock thousands of years ago. Crystal formations provided soft light, revealing architecture that was both alien and beautiful. Technology far beyond human understanding hummed quietly in the walls. Hundreds of Vorthak filled the chamber, from massive adults to smaller juveniles. And at the center of it all sat the largest Vorthak Maya had ever seen, its crystal spines reaching almost to the ceiling. Stormwing approached from the crowd, but kept its distance. Maya could see fresh wounds on its hide from the military attack. The pain in those golden eyes had been replaced by cold anger. "Stormwing," Maya said through her translator. "I'm sorry. I never meant for you to be hurt." The giant Vorthak at the center of the chamber spoke, and Maya's device translated. Small flesh Maya helped Stormwing. But small flesh also brought painbringers to sacred places. Stormborn does not understand small flesh intentions. Maya realized she was speaking to an elder, perhaps the leader of all Vorthak on this world. She moved closer, ignoring the hundreds of eyes watching her every step. "Elder Stormborn," she said carefully. "Not all humans are the same. Some of us want peace. Some of us want to understand." Stormborn studied her with ancient eyes that had seen the rise and fall of civilizations. Small flesh species all grow the same way. First they learn, then they take, then they destroy. Stormborn has watched this pattern for many lifetimes. The elder showed Maya images projected from the crystalline walls, holographic records of other species the Vorthak had encountered over the millennia. Maya saw civilizations that had started with promise but eventually became too destructive to coexist with other life. "What happened to them?" Maya asked, though she feared the answer. "First flyers gave them choice," Stormborn said sadly. "Change or be stopped. Most chose destruction. Most had to be stopped." Maya felt a chill. The Vorthak weren't just protecting this world. They were galactic peacekeepers making terrible decisions about which species deserved to survive. "Humans can change," Maya said desperately. "We can learn to coexist." Stormborn's spines dimmed. Small flesh destroy egg places even after Stormwing showed kindness. Small flesh bring weapons to peaceful meeting. Why should first flyers believe different words now? Before Maya could answer, explosions echoed through the cave system. General Pierce had found their location and was attacking the underground city with everything he had. Maya watched in horror as ancient crystal formations shattered under the bombardment. Young Vorthak cried out in fear while adults prepared for battle with technology that could level mountains. That's when Stormwing made the choice that changed everything. Instead of joining the fight, Stormwing positioned itself between Maya and the falling debris. When a massive stalactite broke free from the ceiling, Stormwing spread its wings to shield her from the crushing stone. "Why?" Maya asked as Stormwing staggered under the impact. "Maya helped Stormwing when Stormwing was small and hurt," the creature replied. "Stormwing helps Maya now." Other Vorthak saw what Stormwing had done. Soon several of them were working with Maya to help human civilians who had been caught in the bombardment. Lieutenant Foster and her squad had entered the caves to evacuate wounded miners, and they found themselves fighting alongside creatures they had been ordered to destroy. Elder Stormborn watched all of this with growing amazement. "Some small flesh choose cooperation over destruction," the ancient being said. "This is new pattern." Maya seized the opportunity. "Let me prove that humans can change. Let me show my people what I've learned from yours." Stormborn considered this while battle raged above them. Finally, the elder made a decision that would reshape the galaxy. First flyers will give small flesh one more chance, but if small flesh choose destruction again, first flyers will choose for them. Maya nodded, understanding the weight of that promise. Humanity was being given a final opportunity to prove it deserved a place in the galactic community. But first, they had to survive the war that fear and misunderstanding had started. Maya looked at Stormwing, who was still bleeding from protecting her, and made her own promise. Whatever happened next, she would fight to bridge the gap between species, even if it cost her everything. The real test was just beginning. The recorded communications that Lieutenant Foster had smuggled off Kepler 438b reached Earth within 3 weeks. Maya's conversations with Stormwing, showing the intelligence and wisdom of the Vorthak, spread across human space faster than any military report. President Kate Sullivan watched the recordings in her private office, accompanied by her science advisors. The footage showed Stormwing creating mathematical patterns with rocks, demonstrating advanced physics, and, most importantly, choosing to protect humans even after being betrayed. "This changes everything," President Sullivan said quietly. "We're not fighting monsters. We're fighting people." Within days, protests erupted on every human world. Citizens demanded an end to the war and the recall of General Pierce. Maya's name became a symbol of hope, though she didn't know it yet. Maya was still on Kepler 438b, working desperately to prevent the complete breakdown of relations between species. She had established a temporary communication center in the neutral zone between human and Vorthak territories, with Captain Carter and Lieutenant Foster providing protection. Ambassador Chen Wei arrived on the next transport from Earth, carrying new orders from the President. Maya met him at the landing pad, surprised to see a diplomat instead of more soldiers. "Dr. Collins," Ambassador Chen said, shaking her hand. "President Sullivan has asked me to establish formal diplomatic relations with the Vorthak. We're hoping you'll serve as our first official liaison." Maya felt a mixture of relief and terror. "Sir, I'm just a xenobiologist. I don't know anything about diplomacy." "You know more about the Vorthak than anyone else in human space," Chen replied. "And more importantly, they trust you. That's worth more than any diplomatic training." The breakthrough came when Maya proposed something that seemed impossible: joint colonies where humans and Vorthak could live and work together. She presented the idea to both Stormwing and Ambassador Chen during their first official meeting. "Small flesh adapt quickly," Stormwing said through the translation system. "First flyers have ancient wisdom. Together, both species learn faster." Ambassador Chen was skeptical at first, but the practical benefits were obvious. Humans could provide technological innovation and rapid development, while Vorthak offered advanced understanding of space travel and stellar phenomena. The first joint facility was built where the original mining station had stood. Human engineers worked alongside Vorthak architects to create buildings that served both species. The crystalline technology of the Vorthak combined with human adaptability produced innovations neither species could have achieved alone. Maya watched the construction with wonder. Stormwing often worked beside human technicians, its electromagnetic abilities helping to power systems that would have been impossible with human technology alone. The creature that had once been called a monster was now teaching human children about stellar navigation. The medical facilities were particularly amazing. Vorthak healing crystals, when properly understood, could accelerate human tissue repair. In return, human medical knowledge helped treat injuries and illnesses that the Vorthak had never been able to cure. Maya discovered she was pregnant during the third month of construction. The father was Dr. Sam Rodriguez, and they had grown close during the long nights of translation work. When she told Stormwing about the pregnancy, the great creature made a sound she had never heard before, something like singing. "New small flesh will grow in place of peace," Stormwing said. "This is good pattern for future." Stormwing had also reproduced, though Maya didn't fully understand the Vorthak reproductive process. The offspring, which Stormwing named Bridge Between Stars, was smaller than Maya had expected, but already showed the intelligence of its parent. The joint colonies' first crisis came when a group of human separatists tried to sabotage the power systems. They believed that cooperation with aliens was betraying humanity's destiny to rule the galaxy. Stormwing could have easily stopped the saboteurs with force, but instead chose a different path. The great creature used its electromagnetic abilities to disable their weapons without harming anyone, then protected the human guards who arrested them. "Violence creates more violence," Stormwing explained to Maya later. "Better to show different way." Maya realized that humans were learning more than just technology from the Vorthak. They were learning wisdom, patience, and the value of long-term thinking over short-term gain. The success of the first joint colony led to others throughout human space. Not every attempt worked. Some cultures were too different to merge easily, but enough succeeded to prove the concept viable. Maya's daughter was born in the colony's medical center, attended by both human doctors and Vorthak healers. The baby was perfectly healthy, and Stormwing was among the first to welcome her to the world. "Small flesh Maya's offspring will grow knowing both species as friends," Stormwing said, gently touching the baby's hand with one massive claw. "This is hope for all future seasons." Bridge Between Stars hatched around the same time, emerging from its crystalline egg as a miniature version of Stormwing. Maya was amazed to discover that young Vorthak grew rapidly, reaching near adult intelligence within their first year. As Maya watched her daughter play with Bridge Between Stars in specially designed play areas, she reflected on how far they had all come. The simple act of removing a thorn from a wounded creature's nostril had led to one of the most important alliances in galactic history. The implications went far beyond just humans and Vorthak. Elder Stormborn had revealed that other ancient species throughout the galaxy had been watching the development of this relationship with great interest. Species that had hidden from younger civilizations for thousands of years were now considering making contact. Small flesh show new pattern, Stormborn had told Maya during their last meeting. Growth without destruction. Learning without conquest. This pattern interests other First Peoples. Maya looked up at the stars through the transparent dome of the colony's central plaza. Somewhere out there, ancient civilizations were deciding whether humanity was ready to join a larger galactic community. Stormwing landed beside her, folding its great wings carefully to avoid disturbing the human families walking nearby. Their children no longer ran in fear when they saw the massive creature. Instead, they waved and called out greetings in the Vorthak language. Maya thinks deep thoughts, Stormwing observed. Maya smiled. After 2 years of working together, Stormwing could read human expressions almost as well as human emotions. I was thinking about the future, about what kind of galaxy our children will grow up in. Future is made by choices in present, Stormwing replied. Maya chose compassion when fear said choose violence. Maya chose understanding when ignorance said choose hatred. Maya showed small flesh and first flyers can make better choices together. As the binary suns of Kepler 438b set behind the mountains, casting the colony in warm purple light, Maya watched human and Vorthak children playing together, while their parents worked side by side on projects that would benefit both species. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but for the first time in human history, they would face those challenges as part of something larger than themselves. They were no longer alone among the stars, and it had all started with kindness to a wounded stranger.